Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're looking at the absolute last line of defense. When an offshore platform fire can't be controlled and the facility simply must be abandoned, what happens? What happens in that exact moment where theoretical engineering becomes a literal matter of life and death?
Think about it. What actually stands between a crew and a hostile ocean when all else fails? Well, we're going to explore the life-saving equipment that is absolutely not optional. It's not subject to cost cutting, and it has to work perfectly the very first time it's needed, because out there, miles from the coast, you just don't get second chances.
Here's our survival checklist for today. We'll be looking at primary escapes with TEMPS lifeboats, secondary capacity using life rafts, alternative routes like descent devices, personal protection via survival suits, and finally, readiness and maintenance.
Let's start with Section 1, Primary Escape, TEMPS lifeboats.
So, the primary offshore life-saving appliance is the TEMPS. That stands for Totally Enclosed Motor-Propelled Survival Craft. By regulation, every normally manned installation has to have these. And unlike the open wooden lifeboats of old maritime tradition, a TEMPS is a completely sealed, highly engineered sanctuary.
Inside one of these, personnel are strapped tightly into forward-facing seats with full aircraft-style harnesses. Now, if you need to escape through a surface fire or blinding smoke, the craft actually uses its own independent positive pressure air supply. It's even got a self-righting hull geometry, meaning if the raw power of the sea capsizes the boat, it'll automatically flip itself right back upright. Couple that with a powerful engine, and it's built to punch its way straight out of the danger zone.
But how do you actually launch it? Well, older systems use gravity davits, where the boat is slowly lowered to the water on wire rope falls. Modern FPSOs and large platforms, on the other hand, use free-fall lifeboats mounted on really steep ramps. The boat just slides down and hits the water at high speed. It's a pretty violent experience, kind of like a controlled crash, but it instantly pushes the boat clear of the platform in a matter of seconds.
Moving on to Section 2, Secondary Capacity, Life Rafts.
Inflatable life rafts are there to provide essential supplementary capacity. They're stored in these fiberglass canisters on the deck, and they use hydrostatic release units to basically automate your survival. If the platform sinks below 4 meters, that hydrostatic pressure automatically triggers the release, and a gas cartridge instantly inflates the raft. Of course, if you need to, you can always manually throw the canister overboard and pull the lanyard yourself. Now don't be fooled, these are definitely not pool toys. They're specifically designed to withstand a massive 18-meter launch drop, and they're built incredibly tough to keep survivors afloat for up to 24 hours. Sure, they can't be steered and they don't have any power, but they act as a vital floating shelter against those harsh marine elements while you wait for rescue.
All right, Section 3, Alternative Routes, Descent Devices.
So what if a fire is completely blocking your access to the normal lifeboat stations? Well, this is exactly where personal descent devices, you might hear them called man-riding winches or descender devices, come into play. A single person, even with minimal training, can just pull a lanyard and step off the edge. The device then automatically controls your descent down to sea level, where you can deploy your personal life preserver and wait for pickup. There are other alternative routes too, like multi-floor descent systems. Imagine a specialized net tower. In an emergency, the entire tower is lowered down to the sea, allowing workers to safely climb down through internal levels and drop directly into an inflatable life raft waiting at the bottom. Which brings us to Section 4, Personal Protection, Survival Suits. Let's put this into perspective. In environments like the North Sea, winter sea temperatures hover around a deadly 4 degrees Celsius. If you hit water that cold without proper protection, cold water shock and hyperthermia are going to completely incapacitate you in minutes, and it can actually be fatal within an hour. Honestly, that freezing ocean is just as formidable an enemy as any fire on board.
Because of that severe threat, the immersion suit, or survival suit, is arguably the single most important personal item you have. A properly worn suit gives you vital thermal protection, personal buoyancy, and high visibility. And here's the kicker. There is a 60-second maximum donning time. Regular drills ensure that personnel can climb into and fully seal these suits in under 1 minute flat.
On top of that, personal life jackets are designed to float a survivor safely for 24 hours. They come packed with signaling gear to guide rescue boats directly to your exact location. We're talking non-metallic whistles, bright locator lights, and really robust rescue loops, designed so that rescue crews can securely haul you right out of the water.
Finally, Section 5, Readiness and Maintenance.
The thing is, absolutely none of this brilliant engineering matters if it fails the moment you pull the handle. So, under the authority of the Offshore Installation Manager, there is a super rigid testing matrix. They do weekly operational checks, monthly function tests, and annual comprehensive inspections. It's a relentless schedule, but it guarantees that these complex systems are perfectly serviceable at all times.
This intense testing schedule really highlights the foundational philosophy of offshore safety. Because the day you need them, there's no time to discover a fault. When that evacuation alarm sounds, the time for testing is officially over. So it leaves you with a serious question. Could you trust your life to this equipment in a 60-second leap into the unknown? It really makes you appreciate the intense combination of engineering perfection and psychological readiness it takes to survive in the world's most extreme environments. Anyway, thanks for tuning into this explainer on offshore life-saving appliances. Keep that curiosity alive, and I'll catch you on the next one.